And of course, probably the main reason all of you are considering getting this mech is the wonderful minifigure. And I do have to admit, even though I do have the UCS minifigure for Boba Fett, I do have to say this minifigure does compare, and it pulls very few punches. Of course, right off the bat, you can notice the main difference are those two minifigure heads. Of course, the dark head is the new minifigure, the new Boba Fett. But I want you all to, of course, decide on your own which one is your favorite. However, I do have to say the details, the designs, the print quality on the original minifigure, the UCS minifigure, is better, but there are simply some things with this minifigure, with this new minifigure, that are hard, very, very difficult to pass up. And of course, in my comparison, I did get rid of the helmets and the jetpack and the UCS shoulder cape because the shoulder cape was not included in the new one, and I do know that was a major complaint from a lot of people, and I honestly think they should have included the shoulder cape, but unfortunately, they did not. Starting right off the bat at the front print, I think it's fairly obvious to see based on the chest, the waist, and the knees that the 2015 UCS version on the left is probably the better print. Now, it is subjective, of course, but I do think it just pops a little better. Trying to ignore that head because the head on the new minifigure is, of course, fantastic. Now, moving on to that right side, that right print on the right arm, I do have to say that the UCS minifigure looks a little crisper. The rope weave and the shoulder pauldron, it looks a little better of a print. And I do have to say the wrist rocket looks a little better designed. However, the tube connecting on the new minifigure does look pretty good. Then moving on to the back, I do think these prints are pretty comparable. I believe this would simply be up to personal choice. Once again, I do have to go with the 2015 UCS minifigure. I think it just has a little bit more detail, and the folds in the clothes they just look a little crisper. But I think this one is just up to personal opinion. Now, this left arm is where it gets very, very fascinating because the pauldron with the mythosaur print on the new minifigure with that very shiny metallic silver looks very, very good. And I think the mythosaur print just in general looks better. So that left arm on this minifigure, it's really pulling me. And the wrist rocket does look a little better. It is a different design a little bit. But I think that's also up to personal choice. But that mythosaur pauldron just looks fantastic. Regardless, you all will have to let me know in the comments which minifigure do you prefer, because I know a lot of it comes down to personal preference, and I'm very curious to hear what you all think.